manages everything, then we know that our conscious mind is the creative mind, so it only runs 5% of things at the time, so it really can't do much. If the overwhelming part of your mind, which is the subconscious mind, is in charge. And well, it is in charge either way. So the issue is just to make sure that it's programmed to suit what the conscious mind would like to see. For the majority of people, that's a very big science fiction story. It's not happening. Positive speech and self-help is not enough simply because the conscious mind only controls 3 to 5% of our waking life. So it doesn't matter what you say. You can mantra yourself to death. If you don't believe it, it's not happening. And that's proof why so many people go to church, pray, make all the positive confessions and things don't change. It's because there is a deeper, much more serious fundamental flaw in the process. And the flaw is your subconscious mind is not in agreement. It's not in alignment with what it is that you want to see happening. So you must align these three. And basically it's your beliefs, it's your thoughts and words, and then your actions. So these three must align. If they are not aligned, my friend, forget it. Then number 4, we are the products of our environments. Very powerful lesson. This one, I cannot even begin to explain how profoundly powerful this is. So our culture forms our DNA. There's this belief that we're born with certain predispositions. Whilst there may be some truth in that, epigenetics, a very interesting branch of psychology and physiology and biology, is proving that that's not true. So this predisposition stuff is not really true because environments can completely change people. And we know very well that even from a Christian standpoint, somebody can go from being a total murdering, Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're tackling right now. That's what we're looking at. And today I'm going to look at another angle, very, very interesting. And this one deals with the concept of the fixed versus growth mindset. Now, just before I do that, I want to mention something very profound. We've been talking about the peace and creativity versus stress and survival states of mind, the two states of mind. And I've really gone to town on this and explained a lot about these two states of mind. But I want to open with this prayer, which is Nespit's prayer, very popular. A lot of my colleagues and friends, especially in the traditional churches, you know this prayer. This is a prayer that for me, I also hold on to. It's very powerful. And it states, and many have actually put it up as a decoration on their walls or wherever it may be. In their offices, they put this prayer up, and you know it very well. It says, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's very profound. Grant me the serenity, which means the peace. That's where your peace and creativity comes in. To accept the things I cannot change. And then the courage to change the things I can. And then the wisdom to know what can be changed and what can't be changed. And that's, I think, where a lot of people get it wrong, because they tend to try to change people. Let me tell you, you can't change a person. So all you do is change what you can in that equation. Who do you change? Yourself. So you change yourself to accommodate the other person. This is very powerful in partnerships. This is also very powerful in marriages. You cannot change your marriage partner. What you can do is change how you react to your marriage partner. As in NLP they teach, it's not the events that happen to you that matter, but the meanings you assign to the event. So it's about you and what you can do with your inner environment. That's what you can change. But if you're going to think that, no, I'm going to be able to change a person and all I do is just try and kind of manipulate them into changing, that doesn't work. And what that'll do is drive you up the wall. It'll drive you mad. You will go confused. You do not do that. And if you're in courtship and you find individuals that seem to have certain very negative traits, do not be moved by what you see on the outside, but ask yourself, think of the worst case scenario. Ask yourself, will I be able to handle this? And if the answer is no, then what the heck are you doing in that relationship? You see, the problem is a lot of people are moved by what they see and by what their senses tell them, instead of being moved by their inner environment. And that's where carnality comes in. I mean, even if we don't, even if one doesn't want to go into the whole Christian thing, the aspect of being carnal is actually you're vibrating at a very low level. Base people vibrate at a low level. And that's where carnality sits, at a low level. But spiritual people vibrate at a higher level. Unfortunately, not many are here. Most are here. And that's why they deal with crap every day, because they do not know how to transcend to this level. And that's why they're always having issues. But see, when you understand what I'm telling you, it completely changes the entire picture of exactly who you are. Now, let's just quickly move into the topic today. That's the fixed versus growth mindset. Now, this is another area where the concept of peace and the concept of peace and tranquility, or peace and creativity versus growth, versus the other side. This is where you get to see the stress and survival. So now, in a fixed mindset, students or individuals believe that their basic abilities, intelligence, talents are just fixed traits at birth and are also determined by the environment. So this is the thing about a fixed mindset. You believe everything is locked, everything is finite. In the growth mindset, students understand that their talents and abilities can be developed through effort, good teaching, and persistence, and can thus grow and become better with time. So here's the difference. Fixed mindset people think everything is locked. Growth mindset people always believe that there's room. Blocked room. Blocked room. See the difference? So now let me walk you through a few examples to kind of help expand this. So let's begin with intelligence. And this is going to help you kind of differentiate between fixed and growth mindset. So in fixed mindsets, such individuals believe that intelligence is static. You are born the way you are, whatever talents and abilities you have, that's it. You're kind of like locked in that. You can't go beyond that. In the growth mindset, we understand that intelligence can be and does get developed. I think that's very, very important. I don't care what teachers told you. I don't care what the psychoanalytical people said about your, use that example, but it's a lie from the pit of hell. You have absolutely no reason to think that your intelligence is locked unless you decide. You see, and that's why Jesus said through Paul in the Bible, to him was able to do exceedingly abundantly above and beyond all you can think, ask, or even imagine, according to the power that's at work in you. It's you, my brother and sister, who controls what you agree to. Mindset leads to a desire to look smart, and therefore, when it comes to the following examples I'm going to be giving, it reacts in a predictable pattern, as I will show. On the other hand, a growth mindset always leads to a desire to learn, and therefore is ready to face the same scenarios differently. You know, that's one of the most amazing truths about what I'm saying. The ability to see the same situation in different light is a mark of growth. And these are the people that do not allow the past to define their present, or better still, their future. Those have a growth mindset. But the fixed mindset people, whenever the past comes and messes them up, they always see that as an absolute. So which means every time the same scenario shows up, they always use the lens of their past events to determine the potential of the current situation. Very, very negative kind of thinking. And I wish I could say, you know, but thank God, no, most people are dictated by that. That's why so many people cannot harness new opportunities, because they are fixated. You see that word? Fixated, fixed mindset, fixated to their past experiences. So, for example, people come out of an ugly divorce. In fact, this whole concept I call time travel. Try time traveling or living in the past. If they came out of an ugly relationship, they never move on. They can't get into new relationships because every new relationship is looked at through the lens of the old relationship. Very, very bad space to be in. When there are new opportunities for business, but they went through a horrendous experience in the past, they always use that as the lens to gauge the new one. So people like this, I'll be very honest with you, miss a lot of opportunities in life because they keep operating from their past. How many of you know such people? And maybe for some of you, you might be such a person. And we know that you're stuck in that state because your reference to anything around that thing is always negative. So you can't move forward. You're stuck. If you mirror, you're not even looking at where you're going. And you of your total space of vision. It's because they know, the ones who make these things, they know that you do not want to spend your life and time on the rear view mirror. Your focus should be on the road ahead. So, another area, when it comes to challenges, a fixed mindset runs away from challenges. A growth mindset embraces challenges. So what kind of person are you? Do you embrace challenges or are you scared of them? So you run away from them. So you're always looking for the course of least resistance. Here's some news for you. The overwhelming majority of human beings are on the course of least resistance. They are using the easiest route to run. They are never, ever facing challenges. They are never taking on any form of challenges. They are too afraid to go and face their Goliath. They would rather cower in the safety of the numbers at the back of the Israeli army. You know, that's a very unfortunate situation. But let me tell you, challenges are really brilliant because they are the best thing that can be used to help you grow. Obstacles. A fixed mindset easily gives up. A growth mindset persists in the face of setbacks. So obstacles are feared by the fixed mindset, but embraced and challenged and knocked on by the growth mindset. So how do you, as you listen to me right now, how do you react to challenges and obstacles? Do you run from them? So do you run from challenges? Do you give up whenever there's an obstacle? Or do you embrace challenges and persist with obstacles until they give in? What's your position? There's an illustration that really gives this one very well to help you understand, and I hope I'll get to it at the end if I can recall. But the next one is effort. A fixed mindset sees effort as fruitless or worse, futile, whereas a growth mindset sees effort as a path to mastery. Okay? So this is very, very important. You have to understand that the path to mastery lies in effort. So the more you put into learning something, the better you become. But if you do not put effort, you are going to find yourself giving up. In fact, like I say, for the fixed mindset, the majority always see effort as fruitless. It's pointless. Why are we going to do this? After all, this is what always happens. And you see, a lot of times you'll notice that the people who give up with their effort is because, again, they are living in the lens of their past experiences. Just because something didn't work out in the past does not mean you give up completely. There is always so much room and opportunity for growth. There's always so much room and opportunity to start again more intelligently. All right, so there's another one, criticism. Now, this is the one that fixed mindset people don't like. Criticism. So a fixed mindset ignores useful negative feedback, whereas a growth mindset learns from criticism. Now, there is people who just criticize for the sake of criticizing, bitter, sour lemon type characters. There are people like that. But you ought to be wise enough to learn the difference between negative people who are just being negative for the sake of being negative and individuals who actually are giving some good critique. So good leaders, very good leaders, have learned to embrace criticism. They've learned to have a group of people around them who all don't see according to their world view. And so some of these come with contrarian views, and those help to give you the reality. So criticism isn't always bad, especially if it's coming from individuals who you know have your best interest at heart. But the problem is, of course, if you're a fixed mindset person, you may probably not even see them as being useful to you. So criticism is very, very good because it gives feedback. It's like failure. Failure in NLP, we call it feedback. It's not an enemy. Failure is one of the greatest teachers you'll ever come across in your life. So the idea is you will always grow better. When, Thomas Edison's factory blew up and got destroyed after his, 500th attempt or 5,000th attempt at trying to build the bulb. This factory is going down in flames, and the assistant is like, "Oh my God, we're done. This is it. We're finished. Look at this now. How are we ever going to manage?" And then Edison makes a very interesting. He says, "There goes our problems. So now we're going to begin without any of these examples or things that we did. That's the burning of all our mistakes." Now that for me is a powerful mindset. He did not, yes, it was a setback because of the financial implications of the fire, but he never saw it as an absolute end. He saw it as a chance to begin more intelligently. And that's exactly what Einstein says. He says, failure is an opportunity to begin more intelligently. And I think so did Edison. Then here's another one which a lot of people don't like. Success of others. A fixed mindset feels threatened by the success of others. Okay? A growth mindset finds lessons and inspiration in the success of others. So you see, fixed mindsets hate to see other people succeeding. So they are threatened. And usually if you're working under a boss who's got a fixed mindset, you're in trouble, because for them, if they see you doing well, or if they see that you have this gift and ability, they are threatened by it. So they like to sit down on talent or discourage it or push it out. Whereas leaders actually lift up and celebrate others' success. So instead of being negative and looking for an area to criticize and prick little needles in, why not learn and say, wow, this person is from the same neighborhood like me, same circumstances like me. Look at the mess they were through, yet they're successful. So you can learn from the success of others. You can get inspired from their success. But it is natural, I know, to feel envious, to feel a twang of jealousy. But remember, that's an individual vibrating at a lower level. Always remember that those are carnal expressions. Those are banal and natural and anemic expressions. But a transcended soul will never operate like that. They have joy, peace, love, patience, kindness, gentleness. They esteem others above themselves. These are fruits of the Spirit. And so when they see someone succeeding, they genuinely celebrate. Okay? They genuinely appreciate. And of course, because of such a spirit, they are more easier to embrace, they are more easier to reach to, and they are more likely to be more resourceful because they see all these successes as learning things for themselves. Very interesting. Now, a mindset person may plateau early in their endeavors and achieve less than their full potential. And this confirms what we call a deterministic or fatalistic view. And again, that's a really sad space to be at. Fatalistic view believes everything is fated, everything is determined. It doesn't matter what you do, whatever is supposed to happen will happen. There's, for example, one area that's very touchy, and I'll speak about it, is this area of, religious people, especially Christians. but I think it's not just Christians, Muslims as well. There's this belief that whatever God wills and decides is done. But I tell you, I'm going to challenge that completely. God wills the best for humans, but God gave humans the power to make and shape their destiny. Now, he will work with individuals that wish to align with his will in heaven so that it brings about the manifestation of the kingdom on earth. But God certainly never forces his will on individuals. Now, I understand that certain sectors of Christianity believe that because they preach about something called irresistible grace. And if you're meant to be saved, you'll be saved. And it doesn't matter what you do. And those who are never meant to be saved are never going to be saved. For me, the argument with that is, then where's the point of judgment? Why am I going to be judged if I have no choice in who I become? But my point is very simple. When you study life, you realize that there is no deterministic or fatalistic view. Everything can change depending on what men and women choose to do. And this is true both positively and negatively. We have enough examples in the Bible where God literally said, I am destroying these people. And then next thing, he does not do it. And there are many cases where he said, I will bless these people. And they go in an opposite direction and they end up in trouble. And why? Because they determine their fate. I mean, my favorite passage in the Bible has got to be Deuteronomy 31, where God says, well, okay, there are several, but this one I like it. He says, today I set before you. On one hand, there is death. Okay. And what is death? Live in disobedience. Forget about what I have asked you and commanded you to do. Do your own thing. I assure you that when you do your own thing based on your own feelings and your own passions and your own, greed or whatever it is, it'll take you down a path of destruction. That's going to happen to you because that's the consequences of that decision. Now I'm paraphrasing. On the other hand, choose life. This book of the law, never let it depart from your heart. Meditate on what is written in it day and night and see to do everything written in it. Okay? And then you will be blessed. You will be prosperous and you will have good success. And all the things you do will prosper. So choose death or life. I commend, this is God now. I commend you pick life that it may be well with you. So you see, the deterministic, fatalistic viewpoint is completely misplaced. God has a way of choosing to change any circumstance you have, dependent on what you choose to do. So a person with a growth mindset tends to achieve even higher levels of achievement. They believe that success is determined by one's determination. You see, that's very, very important to factor in, okay? And to succeed and commitment to stay on the path is what's going to make that happen, okay? And they do that regardless of the circumstances. And they are not governed by events and circumstances, but instead create what they want. And so the saying goes, who succeed in life are born into the right and situations, and if not, they search for them, and if they cannot find them, they create them. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the reality. Is growth day. Reading a few comments. Growth mindset for today, renewing the lens for things stuck in the past. I'm Sharon again, focusing on the road ahead. We'll lean into the challenges and no matter how scared she may be from today. And Sylvia comes and says, indeed, if we didn't embrace criticism, we would not be growing. And that's huge. Threatened by success is a killer in Zambia. We have demonized success and heroized poverty. Correct. And for me, that's the biggest one. I don't know what it is about people kind of like blessing or making poverty look good. There's nothing good about poverty, nothing whatsoever. So how do we see ourselves succeed? I have already given you the key. Learning to move or shift from the fixed mindset. So I want to leave this with you in your mind, and I'll quickly read what's on Facebook. I see quite a few comments, but here's what I want you to remember. These are the items. When it comes to intelligence, where are you? When it comes to challenges, where are you? Obstacles, where are you? Effort, where are you? Criticism, where are you? Success of others, where are you? Are you deterministic or are you futuristic? Deterministic or futuristic? Which one are you? And that's very, very important in closing, because that's what determines really where we go. So I'm done with my presentation for today, and I want you to know that we actually have a platform that we're running for those who are interested in coaching and mentorship. We're calling it the Business and Life Coaching Mentorship Platform, and it's there and it's available for any one of you to become a part of it. All you need to do is simply just become part of it. It's free. There's no charge to it. I'm going to paste the link for both on Facebook, and then you'll be able to follow it from there. But one thing I must also close by saying is a special thank you to every one of you that has made it a point to be part of our training on a day-by-day basis. So I've pasted it in the group and you can be able to get it. And those who are on this platform, I think most of you already, looking at your number. Oops. Okay, you're interested. All right, let me quickly get you the group link, and then I will also have you come. It's very easy. Just click on it, go there, request to become a member, and you should be able to immediately access it and be able to be successful. So on that note, that's our training. Next week, when I come back, I'm going to be, when we talk about what we're doing and become super effective in our growth and in our success, because so there you are. I've put for you, there is another platform beyond that, but that's not the point of this presentation. So on that note, I'm very grateful, and I'll just tackle them.
Ray, we are breaking
Directly in whoops, sorry. Touch it, we're done. See you and see you on Wednesday.
Tomorrow,
bye.
Ray, tomorrow.
Tomorrow you've got your thing, isn't it? What time is your thing?
We'll do the usual morning, and then we'll break off to do our thing after that.
You do realize it's a holiday. It's Women's Day.
Yes, we are working. We start from there, then we move to our celebrations.
No problem. So you get the link. I've got a burial tomorrow. One of my mothers passed away over the weekend, so we'll be putting that.
No problem. We'll carry
this link is going on, so yes, and then we get you on board. All righty. So see you tomorrow. Then join the same link, same details, everything. Okie doke.
Thank you.
Bye.